Everybody's being recorded, so keep that in mind, especially me. I would like the motion to approve the minutes from October 5th.
So moved?
Second. Any discussion about them?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Right. The recent septic application is actually Julia's Scaraglino on Heritage Drive. And she just sent me some information about it. She has a little bit of a, uncertainty about, what to do. The way I view this plan, I've looked at it for 5 minutes, is that they're swapping spaces around, but it doesn't, the increase of bedrooms is not, they're saying that they only have 2 bedrooms now, but they have a gym with a closet and a bathroom. So that's a bedroom, but they still have 3 bedrooms.
Right.
They just have made the kitchen bigger and pushed the master bedroom to the other end of the house. So
All within the same footprint.
I don't have a problem. Brett did send something to Julia that talks about an increase in the square footage of the structure. I didn't think, unless it was like increasing the square footage by taking the thing down and putting a new thing up that's bigger, even though it has the same number of bedrooms. I didn't think that was an issue as long as the bedroom count and the ability to put more people in there, in living accommodations didn't increase. Whatever they call the gym here.
It's a bedroom.
It's a bedroom, but it's still 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms.
So I personally don't have a problem with that, and that's what I would convey to Julia. I have not seen the application. It was Brett's suggestion to apply for a 4-bedroom system, but that's the only system that, the Sen 5 is a 4-bedroom system.
Right.
And that's they're probably, and not having seen the age of the house looks like it's got to have a RO number from the design of it.
It's actually the 60s.
Was it the 60s, that thing? Well, anyway, so maybe it doesn't, and maybe it has a substandard, pool and whatnot.
Block.
The block pool.
Yeah. It's 1 block pool.
So they have to put a new system in.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what I just said. The health department's making them put a new system in.
No.
No, I don't think
No.
they are.
Unless they declare it.
They aren't?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, they're not making them certify anything or do anything.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen a building application.
Well, this is not a construction set of drawings. This is like conceptual thing that I'm looking at. So I think we need to see a better, I would think this would potentially trigger, seeing what the septic is there. And if it's a block pool, which is by definition failing, but is being triggered by the work that they're doing.
Not necessarily, though.
No, they started the process before they decided to do the work. I don't know that the order of operations really matters, but they were having issues with it not draining well, so they looked into the system and that's when they discovered what it was.
So they made their application for the septic predates their application for.
Yeah.
I mean, we want people to put them in, and, there's no question about that. And then just looking, as I say, looking at this plan, I don't see that it's increasing the density that's going to happen on this piece of property. Unless nobody would ever want to stay in the bedrooms that exist now. I don't know that. But it's labeled the same way, even though they call one of them the gym in the new plan. If this application had been underway and, we have already said that we as a committee are okay with approving, even though there's that little wrinkle in the code that says, oh, if Suffolk County mandates it, which they would if the system is failing.
But why,
If it's a voluntary thing, right? If they're doing it voluntarily to begin with,
right,
and then they decide that they're gonna do some alteration to the house that doesn't make the density any greater.
right. So why would they
I would
even,
think I could support this. I don't have the full gamut of the information for this particular application in front of me.
I also think that Brett's comment to 25% is because the town code now has a rule where if you're doing a renovation or you're finishing a space and it's greater than 25% of the total area, I think, then by town rules, you have to upgrade your septic system.
okay,
So that could be what he was referencing.
and their expansion is
It's
less,
500 square feet, the area, but I don't know what that is in relation to the total. But that's the only thing I could think of, a tax comment of 25%. Because you mentioned
Well-
that earlier, so I'm not sure how that would play in.
I mean, that thing exists already and half of that exists already. I just don't know how big that little section.
well, 500 feet.
Oh, no, I see that there's top and bottom. It's a 2-story thing. So they're getting space on the ground floor and the second floor.
Do you know the total square footage? The original total
I
square
don't.
footage?
I can't, I don't have this is not the scale and I don't know. The office is still there. So it's the 1, 2, 3, and the gym is 4. Or it's 3. The office is not, doesn't have a bathroom, it doesn't have a closet. And that was pre-existing. So, I don't know if how this changed in the way the building department is doing this, what's it gonna do technically.
So shouldn't the engineer give us a cover letter explaining that it is or isn't over the 25%?
I don't know that there's enough information been done here yet. I don't even know if there's an existing set of building plans.
Right.
This is a conceptual thing, maybe, that they're contemplating.
So our rule says that if you increase the capacity of the house, or is it even the size? The capacity of the house,
Well, we have, I'll put it even more specifically, me, I look at the thing as are you making it possible to have more bedrooms and more people
Right.
in residence
Says no.
and increasing the density? I view this as no. You're making the people who are staying there perhaps more comfortable,
right,
which is not against law. I mean, the fact that maybe everybody has their own bathroom is, it doesn't increase density, it just,
Right.
It just makes it nicer to go to the bathroom. So in the absence of the 25% thing, which maybe we need the clarification on.
sounds like we
Because
do.
if that is mandating,
Because we don't know the square footage. If it's a 2,500 square foot house, then 500 square feet doesn't matter. That would be 20%, right?
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you could, the economies of scale, I mean, 25% in a small house.
Right, there's nothing.
Why should that trigger it more than, I think somehow the 25% might be ill-conceived.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the more you talk about it, the more confusing it gets.
It comes back to Colligan's old example, really, if you're gonna finish a basement. You know, do you need to do X, Y, Z, put it in an IA system?
Well,
I mean-
if you're gonna finish a basement that makes a bedroom,
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
bathroom,
No,
right?
then that's the answer.
Oh, he told, like, he built a cedar closet for Margaret and something else, and
She lives in it. No.
and it was just a, you know, kids' play area, and it was just an argument that like, why, you know, if we make, you know, if we make it
Right.
depend on square footage.
Right.
Is that so fair? Maybe it's if you just need to, your whole,
And-
yeah.
But
your
even if you put a bathroom in your basement, you're not increasing your bedrooms. You just don't have to walk upstairs to whittle if you're downstairs.
Right, I mean, but if you have, but if it's you know, adjacent to a room that has a closet in it.
Well, that's
and-
different.
And has an egress window, and that could be a bedroom.
Could be,
Sure.
right.
Well, I mean, as Mr. Banks used to say, if it looks like it, smells like it, feels like it, it is it. Like this gym.
Right. Well, that is a bedroom. I mean, it's,
It is a bedroom with some exercise equipment in it.
but it's not, they're not saying, okay, we're adding another bedroom.
No, they have the, you know, they're calling it two bedrooms as I look at it, what they're
It's
calling
really-
it, they're labeling it, but they're actually still 3 bedrooms.
Right.
So to me, they're not expanding their.
But there's 25,
But because of the wrinkle in the code now, which I don't even remember knowing about that. Right.
But we don't know the total square footage, original square footage, so we can't even figure that number out.
Right.
Like Tui was saying, if it's 2,000 square feet, they're adding 500
I mean,
on.
so somebody
then
with a
it's-
giant house that expands at 23%, you know, the 23% could be twice as big as the other guy's house that's expanding 25%. You know, so I don't know, there's some, I think we have to look at that.
Yeah.
You know, we're not gonna make a decision on this today.
right.
I don't have the application, and, you know, Julie's not here, and
So I think that the
I
engineer,
have to give her some feedback.
I think the engineer needs to clarify this for us. What percentage does he increase it? And if there's some workaround on the 25%, we don't know about it, that would be up to him to figure that out. Say that again?
And is Suffolk County mandating it because it's a block?
Oh, yeah, that's the other question.
That's the other question, right?
But I thought we clarified that
But if-
the last go-round, that if it's voluntary,
They started the process before the expansion, I
Right.
believe.
Right,
And so they had a failing system,
right.
which could have fast-tracked them,
Anyway,
could have.
and then we asked the question, well, are you gonna expand? Are you gonna change the capacity of the house? I don't know what our word is. Within 3 years. So they said, yes, we're gonna make the bedroom bigger and move the bedroom from one side of the house to the other side of the house. Does that change anything?
No. Not unless we don't know about this 25% rule.
Right,
See, in B is 25%, and then C is what I think it should be.
Right,
You know, C is,
right. See,
talks about the bedrooms.
right.
You know, if you make a bigger kitchen, should that preclude you from getting a grant? I don't think so.
So who
Should
has,
we draft a memo to the town board?
is it,
probably not a good time.
right.
Well, you don't think anybody's gonna give us an answer? Jerry might.
No, maybe it's Kylie. You know, maybe that's where you start.
Yeah, because it's a code question.
Yeah.
so who,
And if you see any contradictions in the code, as we're kind of talking about now, that if those are highlighted for the attorney. But
All right, let me write something, I'll copy the town board and Kylie and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Because there's a confusion here that we obviously are unable to fathom out.
And some of it has to do with, like you said, proportionality of the house. If it's a,
No, you said that, that was your point, that was a good point.
all right, I said it. It was a great point.
One of the best points I've heard. There you go. So I'll talk to Julia and I'll write something to the town board and Kylie.
Uh, 4310.4.
Four, okay. Julia. Okay. Then there's,
But, so we're writing to the town board on one issue, but the question is, on this house, maybe it gets clarified, like I said, with the engineer writing
well, I'll mention this to
some
Julia.
specifications.
You know, they may have an architect that did this plan, or they may have done it on their own little program. I don't know.
Right. But I mean, don't they have an engineer working on the septic system?
They do.
He should be able to address this issue, I would
guess.
perhaps.
What, the total square footage of the house?
Yeah.
Isn't that the building department situation?
I don't know what kind of plan this is, and if the thing that Brett had is scale or what. You know, this. No. I can hardly read the thing even on Zoom, making it bigger. So I don't think there was any way for him to know that it was 25% bigger. I guess you could eyeball it, but let's get better answers and we'll try to give Julia some better direction, and maybe the town will look at 25% thing and clarify that a little bit more. Moving along, to Mr. Polchuk, or the Polchuk family. They have applied for their rebate payment. And it looked like it was pretty,
Yeah, it looked pretty straightforward, the 12.
they have it here, huh? Yes, they do.
So I have one question. He had picked up plants from the Cauliflower
Long
Association.
Island Cauliflower Association,
Is that plants or is
Or
that
is that grass
grass?
seed?
Or what is that? It's grass seed?
I don't know.
I think it was grass seed.
It sounds more like grass seed to me.
Okay, so then that's okay.
I'd say yes.
Yes.
All the engineering, the electric, all that seems to be in order, and then he has all his paperwork seemingly in order.
So it's 12,000, I would say.
Right, because he had an old grant.
So what's that, 15?
Now it's 15, right? So,
I guess,
but he's only asking for the 12.
right, $12,155.82.
I mean, it looks, you know, everyone here concurs, right? Okay.
12,000,
Oh.
oh, the name or the amount?
The amount.
$12,155.82.
So if there's no further discussion on that, I would ask for motion to approve that in that amount.
Second?
$12,155.82 to Mr. Polchuk.
Okay, and he actually has, there's a, I think he shows that he wants to have. Maybe it's yellow.
I didn't see anything else on that, but I could be wrong.
He had like a thing about where he wanted it to be dispersed to.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, his is one of the older ones, where they were like the sign
and
it.
Derby. You know, don't thought we were switching it over so that we just pay the homeowner and he can pay the.
We passed that. I mean, you know, I
Yeah.
don't think.
All right, so it's going right to him.
It
All
all
right,
goes to him and he can disperse.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
And just to review, the reason for that is because they took away the IRS,
right.
99 thing, so it's not income. tax.
Right.
So that's why we were doing it to contractors.
Okay, moving on to Mr. Derby. Now again, a similar situation. It looks like it's all in order, pretty much. Paperwork and all.
He's only asking for $7,000.
But he had an old one too, correct? His grant?
I can tell you in a sec.
No, I think they had one of the $6,000 grants.
Did they?
So, but we said we would give them the 12,000, right?
That's what we were saying that we're gonna do.
And hold off on payment on this one, because Catherine and I were just discussing it before the meeting started, that we need to go back through and pull the whole universe of original $6,000 ones and do a blanket resolution at the town board level to increase them to 12,000.
Okay.
And then we can then approve the 7,000 that they're put in for.
So,
Can we vote that this is in order and then you guys figure out, how you're gonna make that resolution work?
Only caveat is they submitted $7,000 thinking that they're only getting 6,000, so they may have additional expenditures.
No, they didn't.
They don't? No. Okay, because I think sometimes people are just putting in.
Right, they're putting,
Needed to get to the max. Okay, so you think it's okay?
well, I guess we'll see which ones those are if they, when they.
So you'll approve it, and then if it's.
Well, I approve it if my colleagues are so inclined.
Yes, yes.
so we're
I need
approving
I would
the
need a motion.
6,000 or
The
the
7,000.
7,000?
Pay what he's asking for, $7,601.63.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
All right. Now, the 2004 meeting schedule.
My only question is the January 4th meeting.
A little aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay, would we like to try and see if we could fit in the following week or do the Thursday? No, that is Thursday.
Yes.
It is already Thursday.
Following week, Tuesday and Wednesday would be available. The 9th and the 10th.
Although we haven't
Tuesday,
set the town board meetings yet.
no good.
So it's just Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Yeah, and planning board also does Tuesday, so,
They're the 16th,
oh, okay.
because we're switching that around with CIC, so it's like.
Okay.
What about Wednesday then?
Yeah. It's not taken as far as I know.
Yeah, that would, yeah, because ZBA is the other.
Is the other week, right?
2 weeks later.
So the 10th?
Yes? No?
January 10th? Okay. Say July 3rd.
I wanted to do with the 4th of July, meeting on Wednesday.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Anybody else have any thoughts?
The 3rd,
Leave it on the 3rd?
Leave it on the 3rd, huh?
I guess. I mean, if becomes an issue.
What do you want to do it the next week?
The next week, Thursday is taken, but Wednesday would be available.
I think we're better, or I think we have a better chance of having everybody there if we do that. That's my
On the 10th?
opinion. Yeah. What do you think, Tui?
Before I had to conceive of what's happening.
So that,
I don't care. You want to do it on the 3rd? I can't tell you whether I'll be here or not, but,
personally, I'd rather not do it on a Wednesday at all in the summertime,
okay.
period.
I'm with you.
Would you like to do it the week before, June 27th, that Thursday? Have it a week early?
Yeah, sure.
June 27th.
7th.
Yeah, 27th.
I would rather do that.
Okay. It's a Thursday?
Yes. That way everybody's happy.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So as amended, may I have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Aye, aye, aye.
Yeah. Update on the water tests and septic outreach. I had some dialogue with Greg Nissen. They're still doing some tests. They can't even get into some houses still. But the upshot is that there is no glaring spot that he sees so far that is like the super hot spot and, over 10 milligrams. And, he is saying that, while it's something to keep on the burner, it's, you don't have to pull your hair out about it. He thinks that, the water that you pull out of St. James Woods would probably be fine. If you ever wanted to do that. If you want to do something, and it kind of goes back to, this is just his suggestion, but we've talked about it, going back to educating homeowners specifically about the fertilizer stuff, because a lot of people like me, if a little is good, a lot must be better, or, some contractors who may not be holders of the Suffolk County license thinking, well, if I put more on, I can charge more. I don't know that, I don't know, I'm not speaking for anybody specifically, but, I think some education that way. And an interesting point that Greg made was, they're trying to look at, in addition to the nitrogen, the PFAS stuff. And he said that, a lot of the PFAS stuff is a result of washing your clothes.
Right.
Not so much detergents, it's what's coming out of your fabrics. And there is, in design, research and development, device that goes on your washer drain. That would filter it out.
Interesting.
It's not, I don't think it's ready for sale yet, but he's going to some conference in January or something, that they're gonna talk about this. So that's a very interesting thing. I mean, that's a thing I could get behind giving grants for,
It's all about water quality, so.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
actually in the fabric, or is it
Yes.
what
It's in-
soils the fabric?
No, it's in
Oh.
makeup of the fabric, like waterproofing of things.
It's also like with shampoos and
Yeah.
detergents and everything.
I mean, it'd be nice to put a whole house thing on it. It's instead of treating what's coming in, treat what's coming out more, more than, just in the septic system. And maybe it could be done in the septic system. Maybe this thing could be a giant thing that goes on, in addition. Maybe something more about it than I do.
Yeah, it's a carbon filter, so it's
Right.
it's a form of a carbon filter that would go on the dish, the washing machine discharge. So it wouldn't really work on sanitary because there's probably too many solids. But for a washing machine, I think.
But
it's a great idea.
couldn't it work on the other end?
Possibly.
You know, where, you know, after it
Yeah.
goes through the
Settling tank.
settling tank? Why not?
There's potential for that, absolutely.
You know, if you could, you know, the more stuff you can put on this unit, you know, that's gonna take stuff out, the better it is. You know, and it doesn't sound like it's, you know, maybe it's not Fuji Clean this thing, you know, but it's another thing that just plugs on the end of it.
Well, if you know that the washing machine is the major source of the PFAS, and you're treating it at the washing machine, then when
Right.
it goes into the sanitary system, it's already been treated. So
Right,
you've already
but they're
taken it
talking
out.
about shampoos and everything else, but,
Yeah, it doesn't help
You
with
know.
like the gray water from your shower, but.
anyway, I mean, this is just something that Greg, you know, this topic morphed. And I don't know who is the recipient of people who have gotten their results and seen the overture about the, you know, IA systems. If there have been any responses from that.
Catherine?
No, not yet.
It's an odd thing.
The card?
Well, it's not, it was a digital card.
Yeah, oh.
No, maybe they have, maybe.
I think it was in an email, you know, I don't know that it was a physical
We did
thing.
print cards and then we decided to go digital because most people are gonna be getting an email, right?
Because all the results were emailed out, so we attached it to the email. So everybody received it, everybody who received test results received a copy of it.
So, nothing yet. I did get something from Green Expo. Some people got cards.
Right, that was from the High-Low Shores Association,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
I mean, and they're interested in doing it.
It was Chuck Cross that reached out.
Yes.
Yeah, and his daughter also reached out, so those were the two so far.
Well, she's in, right by the medical center. Anyway, I mean, that's what I know about the update on the water stuff, you know, and I think we just have to keep at it and, you know, and maybe it ties in with what we were talking about before about the educational component of just keeping it there in front of people's face.
But
you know?
we don't have a number, like an average number, but what, Greg,
I mean, the night.
of the center
He was
triangle.
talking in about the 5 milligrams. He said 5 milligrams, so I'm assuming that was an average,
Yeah,
you know?
so why did the center get declared to be the hotspot?
I think it was a study done by John Cronin and the interns that seemed to turn this up, and what his protocol was for the study and how he achieved that number. I'm not 100% sure, and I know that they did a lot of,
He foiled water test results
Right.
from the county, so he got a huge number there, and then I think whatever we had in the building department, the homeowners had turned in with various applications.
I also thought it was the USGS that gave us the triangle, the hotspot map. But that was from a limited number of test wells, I think.
But then, like, I think you discussed, was it you, BJ, who discussed the Presbyterian Church issue turned out to be the dog?
Oh, the next door.
Yeah.
Not necessarily though. If you don't have any actual proof.
Well, but it went away when the dogs went away, right?
Put a filter system.
they put the.
But I thought even still that,
Or have you, I don't know.
no, I don't know. I thought I heard that at the last meeting, no?
No, I don't think so, but.
Okay.
No, they're still treating the water.
I mean, I still think,
Are they testing it on the inside or the outside? Before, pre or post the filter?
I'm not sure.
you know, I was always like either moving the well point or moving the well was the way to go. But I've ship sailed. Anyway, so. Financial report, is there anything to update us on that has changed earth-shatteringly from?
Not earth-shatteringly. When I saw that on here, I'm like, oh, let me update the schedule. So far this year, you've encumbered with what was passed at the last town board meeting on Tuesday. Kelly wasn't passed on.
In Canada?
No, I saw from the minutes or from the agenda, it was saying Sardis, Shannon, Waldbauer, Wallace, and Canada. I didn't see.
Gally was.
Yeah, he was. I thought we had the public hearing that night. No objections. We wrote in wasn't that the one we attached at the end, Mike?
Oh, okay.
It was the one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so I didn't have that one in what I just updated, but anyways, so that means you've given out, they were 21,000, so you've given out 9 grants for a total of $114,000 this year. And what we have in encumbered rebates, I took out Polshek but not Derby because of the open question on getting it revised, whether, just up to from 6 to 7. So set aside for specific projects is $790,228. So $790,000. That includes all the outstanding rebates over the years. It also includes the funds for Fresh Pond, the Cornell Cooperative Extension for $200,000. So those are, $354,000, a big chunk, but still.
And that leaves us with what?
That leaves us with like 2.1 million.
Unencumbered?
Yes, and that doesn't include any of the monies that have come in so far this year. Because money's come in this year, it gets added on in January.
Right.
It's just the way the legislation was written, the underlying legislation initially. You did put something here for Wade's Beach.
You had mentioned
I didn't-
Wade's Beach.
Yeah, so I don't think that we have that still encumbered from years ago and.
Wade's Beach was paid, wasn't it? But
No,
never,
no.
I know, but they put the tank and everything in,
They
didn't they?
put it in so that it could be added later, but it's never been moved forward. Like, it just needed the guts, so $20,860 is still encumbered.
So they're just pumping the tank out?
They're just using it as regular septic system. Yeah. It's just a regular septic system. And I think Jay was really big on it and John Cronin was really big on it, but then when Brian came in, I think he just thought that the short period of time that it gets used, it didn't make sense.
It makes sense not to have anything there except for the septic tank and just pump it out.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to.
I know, but let's just say that the end was crushed. I mean, because whatever you put there is bad, even if it was an IA system.
Yeah, so I mean,
But I mean, it's not that much. It's the same exact thing that we're doing in Crescent Beach.
Yeah.
Right.
well, actually, yes, because we got,
Because you have
a holding tank.
a different thing.
Yeah, or is it a holding?
I don't think it has a septic there.
Yeah,
It's a Holden Hall.
Oh, because it's a temporary, yes, that's right.
Well, everything's temporary if you want.
Volunteer Park is the only one that's county approved.
Right. And we can't do that at Wade's Beach because the structure's already built.
So do you want to push Commissioner of Public Works to finish that project, or should we release that rebate?
I mean, it's better to have the thing in there than not, but I mean, I sort of concur with Brian's take on it. I mean, I don't know if there's a way to measure the use of that. I mean, it's not an ideal situation for a IA system. Though I might be incorrect about that.
The water meter on?
We have a water meter on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's already a water meter on the building. And they looked into trying to do a full upgrade of the entire system. And the health department requirements made the system so massive that it wouldn't fit. It would be ridiculously oversized for the flow. So I think they
Just
used
because
to
it's
do
like we're gonna use it
200 gallons
365 days a year.
season.
It's the 90
And-
parking spaces.
Yeah, they calculate the
yeah.
size of the septic system
It's the
based on the
90 parking
parking.
spaces, I just remembered that.
And
but
so
he's-
it makes it a monstrous septic system. And it just seemed ridiculous, so kind of dropped it. For like the short period of time it gets used and the small amount of flow it has, it didn't seem.
I mean,
the-
so why don't we
Yeah,
why don't we unencumber it and then just leave open if there's some other technology or something that becomes something that seems to work, like a giant tank, no? I mean, that would be too simple to do.
You're not allowed to tight tank?
they won't let you.
But even though it makes complete sense.
Yep.
I think their concern is not for Shelter Island necessarily, it's for
For somewhere else.
around the county.
Well, and their concern also is that if you don't pump it, it's going to overflow. So if you're not doing proper maintenance, then you're gonna end up with more of a problem.
Right.
Well, just put a bigger septic tank in,
Yeah, we can leave it.
you know, and just leave the outlet high. And then just pump it out.
We better just pull it out.
To be recorded.
I know. I don't want to make too much sense here.
So we're gonna unencumber
I
it.
think unencumber it until some such time that, you know, there's a better answer for that.
New application, that's all, right? Yeah.
Right.
And for this, and also, it's $20,860, which is what the cost was back in 2018. And, you know, goodness only knows what the cost is today, so.
Yeah, and it would be more because it's a commercial thing kind of and whatever.
It would have to be traffic bearing and it would have to be accommodate all the parking spots. We were gonna try to go back with an argument for designing based on the flow rate, the average flow rate, but we didn't have enough data at that point. We only had 1 year's worth of metering. So maybe if we have multiple years of.
Do you happen to know what the gallonage is or no?
It was something silly like 250 gallons a season or something. It was something very, like, it was so.
I mean,
And it's then.
I mean, I can't.
Then Brian's concept of it's really not necessary applies.
That's right.
If it's 250
But I
gallons,
mean, essentially though, if it's a 900 gallon septic tank,
Yeah.
I leave it at that.
Every season, consistent maintenance and won't have.
Keep it clean, I say. Good. All right, well, let's unencumber that.
Okay, so you're making a recommendation somewhere, because I think because this one was, it had to have its own public hearing because it's not a residential system, we should just do a proper resolution saying that we're unencumbering funds.
I think that's the way to go.
Okay.
so we recommend that that the town board does that. We need a motion?
Yes.
I motion to unencumber the,
$20,860.
okay,
For the Wade's Beach IA system.
right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
From CPF, just to know, 317,000 through the end of September.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so, yeah, so if we're sitting at 2.1 million, then we're sitting, almost 2.5 million.
Yeah.
So we need to find some good project soon. Before-
It's nice to see 8 through November 2nd, whereas last year you had 3 approved.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Trend is.
But we're not at 50, are we?
big
I might
year.
have to change.
But I mean, I think people are,
Good goal.
there's more of an interest.
Should have.
There's more of an interest. We're getting more applications.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's why I think for.
And we're getting some of these old ones done.
Julie's application, we should try and make it so that it works. We don't want people, that's bad advertising if we,
Yeah, because if you could do 50, just even 12,000, it's 600,000.
Yeah.
So add on the other stuff that's.
well, thank you for the update. anything of old business that anyone would like to discuss?
What's happening with the Fresh Pond project? Anything? moving forward with that?
The committee, the town committee is trying to get an audience with Fred Thiel about specifically the short-term stuff. You know, the harvesting that was applied for in June or whenever. You know, obviously it wasn't done this summer. Coincidentally, it wasn't so terrible this summer, you know, I mean, this mat kind of stuff that seems to manifest itself. But we're trying to get that, so the approval, and that's something that the town paid for the permitting of it, but the residents are paying for the actual time so that it happens. You know, so that's, you know, and that they're committed to do that until such time as the bigger project hopefully gets done and gets traction and starts working. I don't know where that grant sits now that was applied for, or when we'll know, by December or something like that, is it usually?
I don't know. It didn't, I don't think it's uniform in terms of when you get them.
It's a DEC grant?
I don't know, Jennifer, and Joe, and they were working
Joe
on it.
said December.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I think it said December.
A lot of them happen in December.
And we're also still waiting on the DEC permitting for
Yes.
this, correct?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were gonna go see Mr. Thiel,
Yeah.
Joe and the committee, and see if we could make some headway.
While you're there, you should ask them to get on the ADU thing too. I think that they should amend this, the WQI law, and say if you're gonna build an ADU for year-round occupancy, you can use
That we get a grant,
your IA system from here.
yeah, because you're expanding your bedroom count, right? You know,
Right,
I think that's,
I mean, you
that again makes sense.
right, I mean, new construction
Eliminating
or
the new construction.
retrofitting, but I, he's a.
In my memo to the town board, maybe I'll just include that.
Yeah, because I know Jerry has a little laundry list for that. And if that was going in, because I mean, Fred has said it in public, speech that unintended consequence of CPF was non-affordable housing, or just that real estate price, land prices went up.
Right.
So now we have an affordability crisis.
Any new business? Then I would ask my committee members to make a motion.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn second.
Thank you.